We're starting with the latest in Trump's legal battles. In his second appearance at former President Trump's civil fraud trial, Trump's eldest son, Donald Trump Jr., lauded the sexiness of his father's property portfolio.
Well, everything from his body language to the choice of words, it tells you a lot about how serious they are about this as well. Now, the statement comes in stark contrast to Justice Arthur Engoron's ruling in September, stating that Trump and his company fraudulently inflated the value of his real estate assets.
Now, hailing the former president as a visionary at the New York court on Monday, Trump Jr. claimed that the sexiness of his father's real estate projects were key to attracting licensing deals with developers who wanted to emulate the tycoon's style.
Now, this statement was objected to by lawyers from Attorney General Letitia James' office. However, Justice Arthur Engoron, who was accused of bias by Trump and his legal team, permitted the testimony. Scheiding let him go ahead and talk about how great the Trump organization really is. Now, justifying its high valuation, defense lawyer Clifford Robert walked the court through an extensive slideshow of Trump's real estate portfolio.
In opposition, state lawyer Colleen Faherty put forth the evidence, providing Trump's 40 Wall Street properties to be at risk of defaulting on its mortgage.
But it doesn't matter because it's a witch hunt. It always has been. But the precedent that it sets for New York business, if you don't perhaps donate to Letitia James' re-election campaign, I too will go after your billion-dollar transactions. It's ripe for extortion and corruption.
Donald Trump, who is the current frontrunner for the 2024 Republican presidential nomination, has been accused of inflating the net worth of his empire by as much as $2.2 billion. Now, the lawsuit by New York Attorney General Letitia James is seeking between $250 and $300 million in damages, along with a blanket ban on the Trumps from dealing in New York's real estate sector.
Apart from Trump Jr.'s two court appearances, his younger brother Eric testified on the 3rd of November, while his sister Ivanka also appeared in court on the 8th, but not as a defendant. All three have denied involvement in preparing their father's financial statements, placing the onus of bookkeeping on Trump Organization's accountants instead.
Donald Trump himself testified earlier on the 8th of November, where he acknowledged inaccuracies in his financial statement, but dismissed them as irrelevant to the banks from whom he sought loans. Earlier in September, Justice Arthur Engoron ruled that Trump and his company fraudulently inflated the value of his real estate assets.
Engoron has ordered the dissolution of companies that control Trump's portfolio, including the Trump Tower in Manhattan. As of now, the ruling holds pending an appeal. Trump is also a defendant in the 4 criminal cases, including 2 over an attempt to overturn his 2020 electoral loss. The former president has pleaded not guilty in all 4 cases. Now, for more on this, our correspondent Susan Tehrani has sent us this report on why it's important for defense to present its case even after the judge's ruling. Listen in.
Donald Trump Jr. was back on the witness stand at a courtroom here in New York City, but this time as the first witness for the defense. You may remember that last week the state rested its case after calling all its witnesses, and now the Trump team have an opportunity to present their case and call their own witnesses. According to one of Trump's lawyers, this process will end around December 15th. And while many may wonder why the Trump team is going out of its way to do so, considering the fact that the judge, not a jury, has already decided that the Trump organization has had some wrongdoing at least. But first of all, the judge has not decided how much to fine the Trump organization and whether or not it will be able to operate here in New York City. And most analysts believe that there's no doubt that this case will go for an appeal. And what happens in this courtroom, well, will make all the difference for that appeal court as well.
Susan further explains how much of these trials are mere political theatre in the lead up to the 2023, in the lead up to the presidential elections.
This is one of several cases that the former president is dealing with as he continues to be the clear frontrunner in the Republican primary. We did learn from a number of reporters who were in that courtroom that lawyers for Attorney General Letitia James grew quote unquote frustrated because Don Jr. had the opportunity to not only praise his father and their company, but what some called quote unquote an infomercial. Nonetheless, the court has to allow the defense to present their witnesses. And Don Jr. also was cross-examined briefly by the state as well.